When my son would lose a tooth, we actually, like many parents, would give him a crisp, brand new $2 bill.
We actually have a stack of $2 bills here for that same purpose that aren't in sequence. I kind of feel like I want to do something different though, like something more memorable. Like, do I give him like a coin from like a different country? Like the tooth fairy just happened to be coming here straight from New Zealand, and that's what he had? New Zealand dollar? Yeah, it's just what he had. He's like a hobo tooth fairy. He's like, I feel bad for this kid. Oh, fuck, I got what is that? Like a Sacagawea? And I got like a French franc. You're like, a French franc? How fucking old is this tooth fairy?
Why can't I get a Krugerrand?
Oh my God. It's like you're just luck of the draw. Every now and again, he's coming right back from Luxembourg and you just get a Krugerrand, a gold Krugerrand.
Some days you get rubles, you get pesos, things that are worth nothing.
Totally. You lost a tooth yesterday, Tommy? Yeah, I got a $2 bill. What'd you get? 6,000 rubles.
It's worth 7 cents.
In fucking coins. He brought them in coins.
Broke the head of my bed.
His head's all propped up. The kid's neck is sore from sleeping on a giant stack of metal that, by the way, is also ferrous and probably radiated. It's the Krugerrand of Chernobyl. It's the Chernobyl Krugerrand. Oh, great.
Quiet, please.
But hey, here's the good news. The rest of your teeth going to fall out a lot faster now.
4,
yeah, exactly. And your
3, 2.
Presents a Truly Terrible Podcast. Welcome to Nonsense Season 2, Episode 34. I'm Jeff Parker.
I'm Stu Little.
This is our take on the week's business, tech, and entertainment headlines. This time, we'll look at space junk.
Oh, junk. That's what we're good at looking at.
Oh, my. It's the International Day for the Total Elimination of Nuclear Bombs. One of the oldest goals of the United Nations is achieving global nuclear disarmament. The number of deployed nuclear weapons has appreciably declined since the height of the Cold War, but around 13,000 nuclear weapons remain. On the 2023 day, UN General Secretary Antonio Guterres said geopolitical mistrust and competition had raised the risk of nuclear conflict back to Cold War levels. He again reaffirmed the UN's commitment to a world free of nuclear weapons.
So let me make sure I understand this. This is International Day for the Total Elimination of Nuclear Bombs.
Yes.
Last week was National Butterscotch Pudding Day.
Yes.
Okay, so we're really staying in the same genre of importance of days.
Not every day is as important as every other day. By the way, it's also today Alpaca Day, and I think I made a huge mistake not picking Alpaca Day.
Yeah, I feel like Alpaca Day would have been more our thing since we're coming off Butterscotch Pudding Day. I feel like National Alpaca Day is really what we should have done. So let's.
How is your week going?
It's been great. It's always great. I've spent the past week reorganizing our pantries. This is very exciting. I hope everybody's sat down and is buckled up. It is amazing what you can do with a little bit of time and a few dollars at the Container Store.
Oh yeah,
and Amazon. Just getting the right size containers just makes me happy.
Sure,
but it does come with the downside, which is I found this very specific make of it's a Korean company that makes these containers that I wanted, but they're very hard to find in the States.
Okay.
And the only place that I could find them was at QVC.
The TV shopping channel?
Yeah. Much to my surprise, it still exists.
I didn't know it still existed.
Like, there's an online presence. I was like, I have to order from QVC. So I had to create an account at QVC. And my wife is mocking me because she's like, well, now you're officially an old man.
You're 100, yeah.
Like, I literally have joined the customer base at QVC.
My parents would buy things when QVC first came on the air all the time. They went on a cruise, so they were gone for a month.
Sure.
And QVC had a message waiting for them on the voicemail when they got home on their message machine. And it just said, we wanted to make sure Mrs. Parker was okay.
So, okay. We've noticed a large decline in sales on the West Coast. We just want to make sure she's doing okay.
They weren't trying to like sell her anything. They were just making sure that her health was okay, that nothing had happened.
No, the best part is the call was actually from the CFO because he wanted if he had to update his projections for the next 3 quarters. Like what? I'm just trying to get a sense here. I'm trying to get some guidance to the street on whether or not
exactly
how we're looking. Anyway. Glad she's okay. Yeah, so that was my week. I was buying containers to put things in. And I will say, whenever you go through and do an inventory of things you've been collecting for a while, I have quite the dried pepper collection.
Yes, that's something you want to keep.
I don't know how it got to be that big. I have a lot of, I make a lot of rubs and things. So that was my fun. I am curious to see if you could top that in your week.
I have been sucked into Indiana football.
Because the Trojans can't win? All right, you're looking for new teams?
You can't lose to Michigan. That was heartbreaking. Okay. Indiana's 4-0, so come and join me as a Hoosier fan.
Where they play the great schools like Louisville or who else?
It's Big Ten. What are you talking about? Our
University
next game is
Charleston.
Maryland.
Yeah, okay.
No. Well, Maryland sounds silly, but it's because it's homecoming, I think. And they pick an easy team for homecoming. I sit down on Saturdays. I'm just going to watch the first 2 minutes of the game.
Sure.
I'm not going to get sucked
into the whole thing.
I do not want to get sucked into this.
Yeah.
And that's it. I watched the entire game.
Watch the whole thing.
I love every second of it. I'm starting to know the players. I'm an involuntary Hoosiers fan.
I've never watched an Indiana football game, but I'm assuming it's like flag football, right? There were like little flags. How does it work?
They're going to
Is it a half field? Is it 50 yards? How long is it?
It's
the whole thing?
50-yard field. That's true.
All right.
It's arena football.
I like that I'm alienating our entire Indiana University listening base.
I'm telling you, they're good. They are in the Big 16, the Pac 16, the Top 16, whatever that is called.
You and I could field a team against fucking Maryland and win. All right. Yeah, they're doing an amazing job against Maryland. This is like Notre Dame. All the idiots that I know that are Notre Dame fans. I'm like, you're not in a conference. You don't play any real schools.
I'm telling you, the Big 16, or I don't even know what they call it anymore, is a real conference. They're going to play Michigan, who just beat us.
Now you're making it hurt a little.
We just beat UCLA.
Wait, hold on. Whoa, back the truck up. Did you just refer to, okay, anybody can beat UCLA. Did you just refer to Indiana as we? Are you on the bus now?
I have become an involuntary fan. I'm telling you, it sucks you in. I'm trying not to. Here's the deal. The two schools that interested my son most were Indiana and Michigan. The only thing I will say about that is they're about to play each other. Okay. Something like November 3rd, they're going to play each other.
Sure.
Whoever wins, that's where he can go.
It's like a grand bet. I love that. It's like years of schooling and preparatory work and SATs.
Nope, it's all coming down to one football game.
Meanwhile, daddy's 12 beers deep. Like, whoever wins the fucking game is where you're going to school, son.
Exactly.
Great. All right. I think you're making wise decisions. Yet I think of myself as the terrible parent. All right. Cool.
Last week, I told a story about rattlesnakes and keeping barkyard off the trail during the summer because of rattlesnakes. I want to add to that.
Okay.
But the rattlesnakes stay through mid-fall. However, I do hike with some friends.
Yeah.
My friend Ron Niv walks with me, and he goes in front of Barkley, and I go behind Barkley. So we are
Barkley sandwich.
Yeah, we're keeping a very close eye on Barkley. That he's not going off trail. So it is more a little more safe than it sounds.
All right.
Anyway, huge thanks to Ron for doing that for a long time.
Wait. And, you're giving him a passive thank you for taking the first snake bite for you and Barkley? I think you owe him a little more than that. Yeah. Fuck. Hey, next time
I'm a terrible friend.
Totally unrelated. Next time I go to Mexico, can Ron go with me? That'd be great.
Exactly.
Hey, Ron, wear your Rolex and walk out in front of me just to let me know what happens. You'll be fine. Ron made it down that street. I'm sure I'll be okay.
No. Thank goodness for Ron Niv. I cannot tell you.
The world is a better place with Ron in it.
Absolutely. My friend Vanessa is in the market for an EV. She says she wants a sedan, and she says money is no object.
Tesla all the way. Just buy a fucking Tesla. They're so good. They're amazing, especially when it goes into submarine mode, just underwater. It's great. You get to see all the fish and everything. You die, but you see the fish before you die.
But on the way down, you see the fish.
It's good.
That's great. In my life, I have never used the phrase money is no object.
Okay.
Have you?
I usually think of money as an object. Yes.
That is such a crazy way to live. I want the most bang for the buck.
Was she inside her Scrooge McDuck room full of gold cougar ounce when she said this to you? She's just like throwing them around like money.
Swimming in them. Swimming in the gold.
Exactly.
Yes. Let me give you the list of the cars. Just
Are we a call-in show now? Is anybody?
Yes.
Are we taking like woodworking tips now? What else is coming in? All right.
Please give her some good ideas. She has looked at the Lucid Air. She likes it because it has seats that give you a nice massage as you drive.
The Lucid Air is like driving a couch.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be I've not driven one. It's supposed to be incredibly comfortable.
Everyone says that.
I mean,
can I add something?
Yeah.
The Lucid Air, they're working on L3 self-driving capabilities.
So the people I know that own the Air like it. A couple of them have been grumpy. I don't know what their reasons are, but I think generally speaking, the consensus around the Air is that if you want to drive around the most comfortable electric couch you can find, the Air is the way to go.
I used to say that about the Bentley. The Bentley's like driving a living room.
Yeah, it's definitely a living room-esque. Here's the thing about the Bentley, though. You don't drive a Bentley. You are driven in a Bentley.
Yeah, sure.
If you're buying a Bentley to drive, you are doing it wrong. It's like, people like, I want to buy a Maybach. I'm like, you better fucking buy a driver with it. Otherwise, you're going to look like a dipshit getting out of a Maybach. The Air is supposed to be great. I think that's a great option. They also have some crazy high-performance version that's like stupid fast. So you can be a fast couch if you want to be.
Wow.
The new Mercedes-Benz, a lot of people like. I'm not a huge Benz guy. I don't like their...
EQE? You don't like the EQE?
I don't love the design cues on it, inside or out. I mean, I think if it's your cup of tea, go for it. It seems to be a polarizing car. It's kind of like the Ioniq 5.
Sure.
You either love that car or hate it. I happen to be in the hate category.
Wow, I don't. I've actually been in one fairly recently, and I quite liked it.
I just think the outside looks terrible. I haven't been in one, but outside,
climb in the inside and go for a drive. You're going to like this car.
As a BMW guy, I have a hard time recommending their current i-Series, the i4, i5, or i7, because it appears they took a gas, ICE vehicle and electrified it so that it looks the same, which is cool, but you don't have all the same storage accoutrements that you would normally want. Like, it's not a purpose-built electric vehicle. So, I have friends that have them. They at least the i5, they love them.
Sure.
They're very happy. It is a BMW. It just doesn't do much for me.
Great fit and finish.
The one that I love is the Taycan. The Taycan and also the Audi e-tron GT, which are basically the same car with different trim. I think it's tons of fun. It's super stylish. It's lots of power. It's also, and people don't talk about this enough, it's the best sounding EV in the world. It sounds like a Detroit V8 had consensual sex with the Jetsons car.
Wow.
And the baby that they made is incredible because it sounds like a little electrified.
And you can hear that it's consensual.
No, if we took the best parts of an American V8, which is arguably the best sounding engine, if you like the way motors sound,
yeah.
and you took the Jetsons vehicle, sort of this futuristic EV thing that we thought of, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, and those two made beautiful love and had a baby. That is what the Taycan and the e-tron GT sound like to me, and it's lovely.
I think the Jetsons might be 60 years ago.
I was trying to save this for you, basically. It was the Ioniq 6. I have a couple friends that have Ioniq 6s, and they speak highly of them.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that owns any of the new Volkswagen ID line. Like there's the ID4 is the one that I think came out first, and people seem to really like that.
ID7 is a lovely car. Those are not luxury vehicles. And if you're saying money is no object, I'm guessing you want a luxury vehicle.
You want a Chevy Bolt? I'm assuming
Yes.
the Chevy Bolt is right where you line up. You're like, what do you have that's made in the Eastern Bloc? Money is no object. I do think it is mildly ironic that basically 3 of the vehicles I'm recommending are VAG, right? The Volkswagen group.
Yeah.
And which is mildly ironic since they got busted for Dieselgate, 10 years ago?
Sure. But you're not going to get busted for Easelgate. There's no electric
Oh,
gate.
I guarantee you they're doing something in there. Yeah, I know.
You think they're fudging numbers like Tesla?
They're using blood lithium or some shit. They're doing something in there that's not. We don't know what yet, but some college kid's going to figure it out.
Blood lithium.
And blow a lid off them.
We confused our audience with our 1990 retro ad.
Oh, last episode?
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was great.
Well, you and I are fans of how far we've come
Sure.
in technology, and so those are fun for us.
Yeah, there's good news and bad news for you folks. If you got the ad, like if you understood what we were doing, congratulations, you're a super dork, and
Yes.
you clearly were dealing with computers 30 years ago.
Like us.
If you didn't get the ad, congratulations, you're one of the cool kids, and I'm assuming in the 90s you were at like a school dance or something, or I don't know, out playing football, you jock, not flipping through the computer shopper like I was.
Yeah.
Okay, we should keep doing these, but I feel like it's let's see if our listeners can identify the ads.
Let's get to our headlines.
Yes.
You think that's a good idea?
I support headlines.
Biden proposes banning Chinese vehicles, connected car technology from U.S. roads. The U.S. Commerce Department on Monday proposed prohibiting key Chinese software and hardware in connected vehicles on American roads due to national security concerns, a move that would effectively bar Chinese cars and trucks from the U.S. market.
I think this is probably a good idea. I'm for this.
I know you are.
I don't think this is as simple as just trade asymmetry and saying we need, to be nationalist about U.S. products. I think this is we probably don't want China to have a whole bunch of vehicles that can, map and also react to things on our soil. I'm for this.
The proposal would make the software prohibitions effective in the 2027 model year. The hardware ban would take effect in the 2030 model year or January 2029.
At first blush, I'm like, wow, that's kind of way out there in the future. But then you think about how long the
Be there in
design
2
cycles
seconds.
on these cars, and you're just like,
Sure.
even if they react now, it's going to be hard to be ready for a 2027 model year, which is in 18 months, less than 18 months away. You're going to be shipping those cars?
I don't really even get this. Honestly, I don't.
Why?
I'm a Chinese spy. Can't I just jump in a car and, have a camera,
Of course.
record all the same data, and get the same information?
We've really got to work on your imagination.
I mean, it just doesn't seem like this is hard data to gather.
But not just data to gather, you can also control the cars and tell them to do things.
That's a little different. I mean, yeah, okay, sure, maybe they control the cars and tell them to do things.
Technically, the interstate system was made, right, for military transit.
No.
In reality, it's primarily used for commerce.
It was used for trucks. That was the primary reason.
The original budgeting was for military transit, to be able to get to move vehicles from one area to another to protect the country.
I don't know anything about this story. I thought it was
We'll do a segment on it.
We need to, because I always thought it was for commercial trucking.
Commerce was the bonus, but the initial interstate system, my understanding, probably wrong, was that it was designed for military use, or I should say that was the auspices that it was implemented as. Is like if you had to get vehicles from one place to another,
you could,
without a bunch of stop signs, you could.
Sure.
Obviously now we use it for almost strictly commercial use and personal use. But think about this. How many vehicles, Chinese or otherwise, shitty Teslas, doesn't matter. How many do I need to put in a coordinated effort on the Bay Bridge to shut down San Francisco for at least a day? Not many. A couple on fire.
Sure.
But no, I didn't even think about that. Like, what if you just ran 4 Teslas, which by the way, they can do this themselves.
Yeah.
You just ran 4 Teslas on the Bay Bridge and then just ignited them. You just ran the battery supercritical. You're now going to have a whole bunch of really hot metal on the middle of the Bay Bridge, which might shut that bridge down for weeks or months. That's really bad. That's an infrastructure attack that's really bad.
Okay, enough with the headlines. Up next, we're going to talk about space junk.
The junk of space?
Junk in space.
Is it a lot or a little?
Space is full of junk.
Just like my trunk. It's the bubble butt of space.
Ooh, let's go. I'm mystified that after this is our 80th show, this is our 83rd show or something like that, that neither of us remember how to start these segments.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping after we do a couple more, maybe we'll get used to it.
What does it take?
I think this is our 83rd episode, but who's counting? Maybe around 100 we'll figure it out.
Hello, CJ. I
Hi.
think we're talking about garbage.
Space junk. We've talked before on this show about
high-speed
trash. Jesus Christ, not again. There's so many things you shill for. I'm got to follow the money. I feel like most of that $56 billion has gone to you and not to actually laying track in the ground. No. We've talked, yes, about high-speed rail, but we've talked also about trash.
That was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does seem like as a species, our superpower is covering the planet with trash. And I dislike trash. I think most people dislike trash. I hope most people dislike trash. But I dislike trash, right? So we've talked about this in the last episode.
Oh, very much so.
Like throwing litter back into people's cars and just being grumpy generally about trash, especially when it spoils the nature around us.
Yes.
But here's the thing I didn't really appreciate until we started thinking about this more. We started talking about the ocean. Not only is there a bunch of trash in the ocean, but there's also a bunch of trash in space.
In 1957, space was pristine. Everything up there was stuff that was natural debris. It was nothing that we had put up there. And starting in 1957, my Lord, the litter we have created.
That's the bananas part of this is like, we haven't been at it very long. Even on Earth, we really haven't been making trash for very long. I mean, like you go back, 100 years? I don't think we were producing much trash.
You were producing trash. It was just all things that
organic.
the Earth would ingest. It was all organic.
Like as we've made more trash, right? Our solution has been just throw it into the earth, right? And or into the ocean as it might be from our previous episode.
Yeah.
And like literally filling canyons with trash and just putting dirt over and pretending like it doesn't exist. A term came to mind that I was thinking about this, which is from Cory Doctorow. I don't know if you read much Cory Doctorow, but he coined a term to describe a pattern in which online products and services decline in quality.
Sure.
Do you know what the term is? Have you heard this before?
Sure.
Enshittification,
Sure.
which is fantastic. It's the basic concept that initially vendors create a high quality offering to attract users, then they degrade those offerings to better serve business customers, and finally degrade their services to users and business customers to maximize profits for shareholders.
Yeah.
That's what he calls enshittification.
But just to elaborate, it's a pattern nearly every high-tech company has followed.
Seems to go through. Sometimes they skip the beginning and then just go right to the enshittification.
Sure.
But here's the thing. I feel like we've managed to enshittify more than just the planet with our garbage. Turns out we've also done a great job cluttering space.
Yeah.
So the area around the rock, because fucking up the rock isn't enough. We need to fuck up the area around the rock. There's been about, roughly speaking, 6,300 successful rocket launches in human history.
Okay.
That's it. Not a ton. Like kind of a ton if you think about it.
It's a lot of rocket launches.
It's a lot of
if you're
rockets.
talking about
Yeah.
it all started in 1957. Wasn't that long ago?
I know, it wasn't that long ago. I mean, what's bananas to me is, we've done 6,300 rocket launches, so single-digit thousands of rocket launches. But that's resulted in millions of pieces of human-made garbage orbiting the Earth, with potentially tens of thousands of more launches planned over the next decade. The increase in space junk is like a real concern about sustainability, to the point where we might not be able to get stuff off the planet, because you may have this like curtain of shit in LEO that's just orbiting around, keeping us from getting off the planet.
Let's explain why really quickly, because it sounds like we have litter. It's just not pleasant. It's just not pretty to look at.
Sure.
Like litter that's tossed in a natural setting. The people who drop the Cheetos
bags,
in the cavern or whatever, and it does cause some problems. But mostly, it's like an eyesore.
Pisses me off.
And that kind of litter was like, oh, that's too bad. That's very different in space.
Yes.
Literally in space, what happens is these objects are orbiting up to speeds of 17,500 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And so when you have your equation, mass times acceleration equals force.
F equals ma.
Thank you.
A is really fucking big. Doesn't matter if M is small. F is still going to hurt like a motherfucker. That's basically what he's trying to tell you.
Yes.
This has been physics by Jeff and CJ.
Mass can be tiny, but if velocity is huge, you still have enormous impacts. You still can cause massive destruction. Think about a bullet shot here on Earth. A bullet flies at what, 2,000 miles an hour, something like that?
You're talking on the order of around low single-digit thousands of kilometers per hour. So a bullet is in like the neighborhood of like, call it 1,000, 2,000 miles per hour.
So about 2,000 miles an hour is what a speeding bullet does.
Sure.
Yeah. These objects are flying through space at 9 times that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
super fucking fast.
You can really cause some serious damage to to things you actually need to exist in space. That's why the litter matters. That's all I wanted to say. The litter matters because of its velocity.
But just for clarity, F equals ma, not F equals mv. So really it's the A that you care about, not the V. The A being the deceleration when the thing hits the other thing. So the velocity is what gives it a high rate of deceleration if it hits something.
A tiny fleck of paint off of a space shuttle hurtling through space that fast is dangerous.
Dangerous is one word. Or you could say it like I think about it, and that little speck of paint will fuck some shit up.
Big time.
Like it does not care what's in front of it. You asked for some round numbers, right? Some basic history on this. 6,300 rocket launches since 1957. have delivered over 14,000 satellites into Earth's orbit. Over that same period, there have been about 630 explosions, collisions, or other unplanned events that have caused objects to split apart or fragment. So you got 14,000 satellites, give or take, but then you've had 600-ish collisions or interactions that have made those things get much, much, much smaller.
Some bigger and more important than others.
So we have people who spend their career tracking this stuff, and this is fascinating to me. There's about 32,000 objects tracked and cataloged by the Combined Force Space Component Command, the CFSCC.
Yeah.
They really need a better name. They're part of the Combined Space Operations Center
At Vandenberg.
Vandenberg, right here in California. These objects are observed and tracked by monitoring reflections from the sun. They feed into some super complex algorithm, and then it can determine the object's size and distance from Earth. So again, you're talking about on the order of 32,000 of these things they're tracking. You're talking about something that's more like around 50 centimeters in size, which I always fuck up my metric to English.
A marble's about a centimeter in diameter.
Yeah. 50 centimeters, I think, is the equivalent to like a couple miles. Quite a bit bigger.
Miles.
Yeah. And these things are traveling at around 3 kilometers per second.
Yeah.
Again, roughly speaking, that's like 2 miles per second.
Yeah.
Not per hour, per second. And that's stuff that's in, geostationary orbit. So anyway, this is all part of the United States Space Surveillance Network, the SSN, which is also another great name. They've called that the SSN. So I'm assuming it will be leaked by Blue Cross in no time. But the real problem is the junk that we can't see. And this is the stuff I think Jeff was alluding to. You've got these statistical models that the ESA, the European Space Agency, has put together. They estimate that you've got these, 36,000 objects that are larger than about 10 centimeters. Mm-hmm. You then have 1 million objects that are between 1 to 10 centimeters. And then somewhere in the neighborhood of 130 million objects that are between 1 millimeter to 1 centimeter. Yeah. And again, because you have this extremely high rate of speed and you've got a ton of momentum in these things, they are real problems if they collide.
Parts of the space station are covered in Kevlar, padded Kevlar, so that these things can hit the space shuttle and not do extraordinary damage.
That was one of the things they had Butch do. They gave him little furniture blankets, and he went outside and just put furniture blankets outside.
Things, sure.
Yeah. Like when you're at the U-Haul, you pay extra for the furniture blankets, and he just wrapped it up all nice. So can you imagine the ISS just wrapped in like blue blankets? Just like, say NASA on the bottom, NASA and U-Haul, like it's a collab between NASA and U-Haul. But here's the thing. You have these, as Jeff mentioned earlier, anything from like paint flecks to rockets or small fragments from these impacts, they're traveling faster than a bullet. And that can cause an incredible amount of damage to something else that's in orbit.
Not mildly faster than a bullet.
Yeah, an order of magnitude faster than a bullet. Here's the thing. We've sent about 10,000 tons of shit into orbit. 10,000 tons. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of stuff. Right?
About half of it's still functional?
Probably less.
How much of the stuff have we put up that is still useful?
That's a really good question. I don't know. I would guess less than that because I got to believe shit was heavier earlier on.
Oh, of course.
And none of that
course.
stuff still
That's
works.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have like all these satellites that become obsolete or stop functioning, and some of them have detachable items like a rocket booster, and some, this just blows my mind, some operators just plan to leave in space.
Yeah.
They're just like,
That's an important point.
Yeah.
People who put up satellites often figure out, we need to, at the very end of this thing's lifespan, be able to deorbit it. We need to bring it back.
Deorbit it.
Into so that it burns up on the way through the atmosphere, and that's all good.
Yep.
You do that, we're all good.
But in the early days,
you take care of your trash, we're all good.
You weren't thinking about this. In the early days, you're just like, let's put this thing up. Let's just see what Sputnik can do.
More importantly, now people aren't thinking about it. There are people, because it's so much cheaper to not have to do that.
That's where this conversation's going. Yeah, of course.
They're leaving their trash in space thinking this is
way easier to not clean your water and just dump it into the river.
Right.
And like, not my problem. Like, it goes downstream. Like, I don't care.
This is a huge problem.
Talking about collisions, there was a fairly well-publicized accident in 2009, which was when a commercial Iridium-33 satellite crashed into an out-of-service Russian satellite in low Earth orbit. Just for perspective here, you had speeds in the neighborhood of 41,000 kilometers per hour. You had lots and lots of A. So it didn't matter how big the M was, F was still pretty big.
Yeah.
And it was the first time that two satellites had crashed into each other. They suspected the debris field is more than 2,000 pieces. Wow. Right? And those things continue orbiting. They don't just like magically stop.
They don't deorbit.
So now you've got all of this shit that now is still orbiting. You've gone from 2 things to 2,000 things. So you got 3 orders of magnitude increase in just this one collision.
And worse, they are small things. It's very hard to clean up small things.
Yeah. I mean, and more recently, we had a Chinese satellite. I think it was the Yunhai 102 satellite, which broke apart when it was hit by a chunk of a Russian rocket. This was like August of 2021.
Yeah.
And we still don't even know how much debris was created from that. And we don't even know if the Chinese satellite's still operational, right? Like, it's like this collision that happened. It was like a hit and run. And now they just keep floating around the planet. There's another cause of space debris. Do you know where else this stuff comes from?
Oh, yes.
Bet you do.
Anti-satellite.
Yeah, these ASAT weapons.
Are we going to talk about anti-satellites, or am I jumping ahead too far?
No, go for it. No, go for it.
Well, basically, the one that was semi-recent was India wanted to show that they had anti-satellite capabilities, and they blew up a satellite in the air, and of course, it created an enormous debris field. And the rest of the world all cried out, "This is terrible! Stop doing this! Don't do this! No one ever do this again." The United States signed a thing that they would no longer test I don't even know. 2022. When was
ASATs. Yeah. So this was the U.S. and the U.K. declared a ban on their own anti-satellite testing, and they call for other nations to join the initiative. I find this somewhat amusing just because we've already done it. So the U.S. has already done this, which was terrible.
That's always the case.
Yeah, and then we've done it. We're like, hey, you guys really shouldn't do this, but oh, by the way, we know how to do it.
Somebody has to do it first, though, to find out that it's a really bad idea.
But I still think it's you got to ask these other countries, no, trust us, don't do it. It's a bad idea. And it's but now you have a significant advantage
because you know how to do it
over other countries.
We'll publish the book on how to do it if you agree not to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be maybe the way to go. Give everybody the tech, but now you're into the same. That's like the nuclear problem, right? Now everybody has the tech, and then they start threatening you to use it. Yeah. That's never great. But yeah, so these are all ways you end up with a whole bunch of debris running around the planet, flying around the planet, none of which is good.
And it's not just low orbiting stuff.
Yeah,
there's stuff in all sorts of orbits.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But LEO is what's sort of most interesting to me right now.
It's the thickest,
just because we have so many things going up into LEO, into low Earth orbit, and as you add more things, you have more of a chance for collision. You look at SpaceX's Starlink, right? Any of these mega constellations. You've got Starlink, you've got OneWeb, you've got Project Kuiper. How do you pronounce it?
This is the Amazon thing?
Yeah, Amazon's Project Kuiper.
Don't remember how to pronounce it.
Kuiper. We'll leave the pronunciation as an exercise for the listener. We'll just call it Project K. It'll be great. Sure. It's either a satellite constellation or ketamine delivered to your house overnight.
It's a way to get packages to you very quickly.
Project K is whatever you want it to be. So just Amazon's project alone is 3,200 satellites.
How many satellites is SpaceLink, Starlink, SpaceLink, SpaceLink?
Well, if you could narrow your question down to one of the two hypothetical.
My uncle has it. It's how my uncle has the internet.
As of this recording, I think you're talking about 6,000 Starlink satellites.
Wow.
And of those, the vast majority of them are working. You're talking about 6,350 satellites that they've put in orbit. About 6,290 of them are currently operating.
Their lifespan is not long, relatively. It's not 10 years. I mean, their lifespan is under 10 years. And so I think they have built into them some way to bring them out of orbit, to deorbit them.
Yeah, I think you're talking about roughly a 5-year lifespan for those satellites, give or take. Yes, they do have some planned deorbiting. I think generally speaking right now, in the international community, you have to have a plan to deorbit for anything you put up. I mean, it's interesting looking at people who track this stuff and have made a career out of stuff flying around in space. I would think from a physics perspective, it would be relatively simple once you know its trajectory because there's very little friction. There's nothing for you to hit.
Sure.
So you sort of know how it's going to go. As it turns out, there apparently is some decent amount of variation that you can't account for. So you have to do real modeling to see what's going to happen, especially when you get these collisions, right? You need one collision and then
you're off. Yeah, sure.
All your modeling from that point forward is done. You got to just start over.
Right.
Okay, so we're talking about this LEO orbit. This is where most debris is located.
Yeah.
And we're talking about, potentially having 100,000 satellites by 2030.
Wow.
In LEO. To show the stars to your kids now because they're never going to see them again.
But also it's kind of amazing how fast we've gotten here.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you can really thank SpaceX for that because they've made launch so much cheaper.
Yeah.
Being able to put stuff into orbit. Now you can basically order the parts off fucking Alibaba.
Yeah.
When the last time I ordered a diamond making machine, I went ahead and threw in a satellite too. Why not?
And the satellites are so small now by comparison. They used to be so big and now it takes much less space.
I mean, the one I'm putting up is the Raspberry Sat 4. Zero. It's great.
It's a W though. It's not a Raspberry 3
It's a W. Yeah, no.
It's
you don't have
W.
that kind of power. No, of course not. Now think about this. You put up more stuff. What's going to happen? More collisions.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
You ever been on the 405? More cars equal more crashes. But then what happens when you have a crash? If you have a roughly speaking 3 orders of magnitude increase in junk every time there's a crash, then you just these things are just grenades flying around.
It's just exponential. The problem is just this compounds very rapidly.
It reminds me of the you've seen the great sequoias, right? The giant sequoias up on the California coast.
I have. Of course I have.
And these things are massive. And my understanding of these is when one falls, which happens every a couple hundred years or something, it's likely to run into another tree.
Oh, it happens way more than that.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a fucking sequoiologist.
You should be.
Let me tell you about my expertise on trees. So, one of these great sequoias, they're hundreds of feet tall. When one falls over, it's likely to fall into another great sequoia, thereby knocking it down. I feel like this is that, right? It's just that compounding effect.
Nature playing dominoes.
Yeah, exactly. Nature playing dominoes.
Yeah.
And it's just you watch all these things sort of come down.
The good news in the case of sequoias is that when they fall down, they grow pretty fast. I mean, some of those sequoias are 200-300 years old. They grow.
They pop up.
Yeah, they pop up quite quickly.
You had mentioned something earlier talking about the blankets or the panels on the ISS.
Yeah, the Kevlar.
As it turns out, we had a couple of years ago, I think it was also in 2021, there was a small piece from a Chinese weather satellite which was destroyed by one of these ASAT tests. It actually hit the ISS, causing like a 5-millimeter hole in one of its arms.
Yikes.
Which is kind of petrifying, right?
They have a protocol for if they get punctured. They actually do have a protocol for
Is it duct tape? It's got to be duct tape.
I'm sure it's duct tape.
Like, Butch brought up 2 more rolls of duct tape and 1 roll of Gorilla Tape, and they're like, Butch is the repair guy. Do you think it's like one of those like rubber repair kits that comes with anytime you buy like
I'm 90% sure it's Flex Seal.
Oh my God. That'd be even better. It's just a can of Flex Seal. And it says like the procedure for a hole in the hull. They're just like can of Flex Seal. That's it. There's no other steps.
For a hole in your boat or a hole in your space station.
Could you imagine if they had Flex Seal during the Apollo mission? It would have been so much easier. They would have just been like, put the tube on it, spray it in Flex Seal. You'll be fine. Oh, that's funny. Here's something that I learned that I didn't know about. As the density of the space rubbish increases, and you get this sort of self-sustaining runaway cycle of debris generating collisions.
Sure.
We have a name for it. You know what the name is?
Oh God, we have a name for it?
We have a name for it, yeah. The phenomenon is known as the Kessler syndrome.
Oh, yeah, sure. The fact that we have a name for it, though, just tells you how bad things are.
I know. It just tells you how bad it is. I know.
If you can say snow in 16 different words, it's because there's a lot of different variations to the snow in your
the types of snow.
There's a lot of snow in your world. If you have a name for space junk, there's too much space junk.
Here's the part that I didn't think about, and I alluded to this earlier. If this scenario of the Kessler syndrome, if this occurred, some LEO orbits could be unusable for decades. And then worse, you may not be able to get beyond LEO to reach higher orbits. Right? Even for missions trying to leave,
can't get through the junk.
You can't get through the junk. Like, can you imagine, like, bad enough you've got to worry about weather for your launch window. Now you need to worry about space junk, and you don't have the vortexing help that you have in the Pacific that sort of pushes all this junk together into a pile.
Yeah. Right.
You have the opposite, and it's all just free-flowing junk.
Yeah, it's all spreading out in different directions.
So this Kessler syndrome is kind of nuts, right? It's this like space-age tragedy of the commons that's happening right now. And there's zero consensus on how to stop it. Like, we don't have a plan for how to stop it, which is also somewhat baffling to me. Donald Kessler, who's the retired NASA senior scientist for orbital debris research, the guy who named the Kessler syndrome, he believes that finding a way to remove at least some of the space junk should be a top global priority.
For sure.
My first thought was like, oh yeah, good luck.
Those satellites are really useful. You want them to function. You need LEO to work.
Of course. But I'm also just thinking like, we're going to ruin this rock over the next, who knows, couple of centuries. So if you want to path off, you better not put up a wall, a curtain of shit. Like
a wall of garbage.
I can just imagine these new space shuttles that have like cow catchers on them for the trains, or there's like, we just scoop the buffalo up and throw it off to the side. You're like, wait, no.
Doesn't quite work.
That can't be the right solution.
Someone needs to call Boy and Slat.
Boy and Slat?
The guy from the ocean cleanup project?
Oh, yeah. Get him working on space? I don't know.
Well, he's 30 now. Let's get his son working on space.
He's old. Yeah, he's old as shit. Do you have a 5-year-old? Do you have somebody else that has your name that we could get working on this?
Do you have a brother?
I'd like to keep him working on the ocean. I feel like we need to keep
that's what I'm saying. Let's find his son. He's done such great work. Perhaps he can.
Or daughter. It doesn't have to be a son.
That's fine. There's just some genetic relation. This man has such success with ocean.
So Kessler's Nightmare is that.
By the way, that's a great title for a movie.
Kessler's Nightmare?
And Kessler's Nightmare. For like an end of the world kind of movie about space junk just ruining our life. Kessler's Nightmare.
You end up with sort of all these crazy ideas, which I think is what you need. You need literal moonshots to try to figure this out. And it's anything from like nets to laser blasts, harpoons, giant foam balls, puffs of air, tethers or solar sails, like even garbage gathering robotic arms with like tentacles. These have all been things that have been proposed as solutions for taking out this orbital trash.
Sure.
And there was one, I did not know this until researching this episode. There was one recently called the End of Life Services by Astroscale Demonstration, also known as the ELSA.
ELSA D?
Sure. It was great. ELSA D. I'm assuming they immediately got sued by Disney after calling it the ELSA D, but 88 years. The ELSA D was a 2-satellite mission developed by Astroscale, which is a Japanese-based satellite service company, to prove this sort of core technology for on-orbit satellite servicing in low Earth orbit. Are you familiar with this thing? How this thing worked?
No.
Oh, it's super cool. You would love this.
No.
They basically put up 2 satellites, a servicer satellite,
a catcher and a deliverer.
I think you could call it that in the 80s, but I think in the 2020s we don't call it that. I think now we just say partners. But hey,
sure.
you do you, buddy. All right, you get us canceled.
My bad,
my
bad.
The great irony is that you're the one that gets us canceled. That's the funny part. Everybody had their money on me. Nobody took you. You had 5,000 to 1 odds.
One captures the debris and hands it off to the other one, who puts it in, takes it out of orbit. Am I right?
Well, no.
Is that how this works?
No. One is the debris, and one. So their first test, this LCD test from 2021. One was the servicing unit. One was the debris, if you will. They called it the client.
So they put up their own piece of debris to capture,
to test against, right? This was really cool. I'll put some links to some videos in the notes, but they basically did like some really simple magnetic captures at first, where they put it up, next to the object.
Because it seems like a lot of this is going to be actual metal. It's going to be copper too, so it's going to be a mix.
Well, you hope. I mean, who knows how much stuff you have up there that's like carbon fiber or aluminum.
Yeah.
As it turns out, ferrous metals are really heavy, but I'm sure you have some strength balance as well. So I don't know that magnets are going to work for everything. And by the way, how do those even work? Magnets? No idea.
Sure.
Just magic. Just 100% David Blaine. So they did a couple cool things, and the video's pretty neat to watch how the stages they did in this mission. One was like approaching the client object and then just capturing it with like a big magnet, basically. Okay, so that's cool. Very simple. But then another one was they detached from the client and then basically sent it off and then had to go find it. And they did I believe it was an autonomous seek mission where like it went.
That's cool.
So imagine it's on an orbit going around the planet, right?
Yeah.
It went into this like corkscrew on that orbit. So on the plane of the orbit, it was doing this corkscrew to search for the object. And then it found the object.
Will eventually get you.
Now they put on the object itself, they put some rotation. So the object was actually rotating as it was flying through space.
That's what's going to be the case. All that stuff is moving in different.
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, of course.
This stuff's going to be tumbling. Yeah. So you can't just approach it and dock. You've got to find the same rotational orientation that it has. And it was pretty cool to watch it do this. That was another big part of the mission. They had all sorts of problems on this thing. I think at one point they ended up losing 4 out of its 8 thrusters. Mm-hmm. So it was not in great shape, but it still went on to complete.
But it's an idea. It's for proof of concept.
It's POC, exactly.
It's a great thing someone's doing this.
And it worked. It was a success, right? They did the rendezvous with these uncontrolled objects. They had a handover from absolute navigation to relative navigation, which is also really interesting. So it goes from absolute navigation, where I believe it's using the stars as navigation points, right? There's no GPS doesn't fucking work in LEO. No. And then it moves to some relative navigation.
Nor does time really, but that's another story.
Okay. All right, Einstein. Keep your third law out of this. But it worked. The thing was a success. And they have now their latest mission, which they launched earlier this year, I think, February 2024, is known as the Active Debris Removal by Autoscale Japan, also known as ADRIS. And they're going to try to extract a piece of existing debris. I think it's a rocket, a Japanese rocket. Mm-hmm. So now they're doing like the next phase of the POC.
Good for Japan. Yeah. That's wonderful. That's amazing.
I mean, you look at this and you go, there can't be any money in this, right? Like right now, there's no marketplace for this. There's no one.
But there should be. All of us who have put space junk up there should be supporting these pieces of research. The capture of the garbage.
I mean, the experts basically say the best way to solve this problem is to stop leaving shit up there.
Of course. But it's too late for that now. There's already garbage there.
Makes a lot of sense. A little late for that, yeah. And the other thing I think is really fascinating about this is you're almost certainly not going to have a one-size-fits-all approach, because like think about just like in the ocean trash segment we did, like the way you remove large objects is going to almost certainly be different than the way you remove small objects. So trying, in the oceans, like all these microplastics, that's what's making up most of the pieces that are out there. The volume might be in other items, but in space, it doesn't matter. You'd argue the smaller stuff is more important because you can't track it.
Yeah, it's harder to track.
So you need like a giant Dyson that never loses suction, that just rolls around sucking everything up out there.
The problem with the Dyson was it never starts with any suction.
You always say that. I own 2 Dysons, and I think they're both lovely. My wife talks often whenever one's angry at the other, and it's like, I'm taking the Dyson in the divorce. That's always our line whenever we're angry with the other one, because we both love the Dysons. It's our most prized possession.
You can have the kids. I want the Dysons.
You get the kids. I'm taking the Dyson.
All right, we have to get out of here, but quickly before we do, have you seen or read anything good this last week?
I mean, look, I've got 2 little kids. I don't get to see anything.
No,
if I'm lucky, true. I get to nap. But
yes.
My kids had a play date.
Speaking of your kids,
at a place called Kids Empire, which I'm sure you don't know because you don't have little kids.
No.
But it's like, it's one of those like indoor play places where your children's kind of like run amok and just do whatever.
3 stories high with
Lord
the
of the Flies.
tunnels. Yep. love that.
All sorts of stuff. And like, I fully expected it to be a shit show, like streaming tears and screaming and broken arms and dislocated collarbones and all that stuff.
I think there's still some of that. At least when my kid went to those things, there was still some of that.
There were a couple spots where you could definitely hurt yourself for sure. But for the most part, it's pretty safe.
Yeah, sure.
The kids did great. One of the other kids referred to it as, quote, Kids on Fire, which I think is hysterical and a more appropriate name of the place instead of Kids Empire. But it was super fun and the kids loved it. There's like some huge slide that was like things that were in my dreams when I was a kid. It's 6 feet wide and probably 40 feet high. The kids just love it. Like they had so much fun.
That's awesome.
Despite my best efforts, they didn't get hurt.
I'm going to tell you a documentary to see.
Okay.
Class Action Park.
Class Action Park?
I believe that's the name. It's about Action Park, which was an amusement park.
Oh, in New Jersey.
Yes.
I've never seen this doc. It's supposed to be amazing.
People died.
Yeah.
There was no safety to this thing whatsoever.
Yes. I've read about this place.
That's how far we've come to the safe things your kids are doing, to the crazy things that we used to allow people to just build.
I want to go back to that. Those guys actually had like a legitimate water tube slide. It did a vertical loop.
Right, only you got all cut up on it.
No, not just all cut up. They said when they took it apart, there were teeth marks in it. From
Not teeth marks. There were teeth embedded in it.
Embedded in it, yeah.
In the plastic, and that's what was cutting people.
Oh, but man, I will say teenage version of me desperately wanted to go down that thing. And I'll be honest, 40-year-old version of me still wants to go down it. I am 100% down for that.
And that was only one of the many super dangerous things.
No, I'm a big fan of this. If we could figure out a way to manage the liability, I'd be super down for it.
We're going to put the link to the trailer to the documentary.
Class Action Park.
We'll put the trailer in the show notes.
We had so much more fun than the kids these days with all their Wi-Fi and their fucking Instagram.
I don't know. I think the kids have it pretty good. You're going to ask me if I have seen it already?
I was thinking about it. Have you seen anything good or heard anything good recently?
I went and saw a concert, and you can't follow my footsteps, so I feel bad making this as a recommendation, but I'm going to make this make sense at the end.
Okay.
South African immigrant, now American, Gregory Alan Isaacoff.
Okay.
And I saw him at the YouTube Theater in Inglewood, which is the same structure that houses SoFi Stadium.
Okay.
He plays indie and folk music and guitar and banjo, and he's known for songs like Words and the Stable Songs. If I Go, I'm Going. Oh my gosh, this was such an amazing concert. I loved this. He was not even the headliner.
Awesome.
And he stole the show. It was so incredibly good. His song, Big Black Car, was featured in a 2012 McDonald's commercial. And he donated all the proceeds to nonprofit organizations that further help sustainable farming and nurture community.
That's super cool.
Forget about him being a great human. What great music. You won't be able to have the same go to the same concert that I got to go to.
Sure.
He plays around. He's around. If you get a chance, Gregory Alan Isaacoff, absolutely terrific. And now let me give a plug for something I really don't want to give a plug for.
Okay.
Enough of this Google stuff, man. I hate giving plugs for Google. They are obsessively spying on you and recording everything you do.
Yep.
Get to the YouTube Theater.
This is the house that Antitrust built? Great. Okay.
Get to the YouTube Theater. It has a sound system designed by L Acoustics. I swear, I hate most theaters in Los Angeles. Most theaters in Los Angeles, the sound is awful.
Terrible.
And they kind of retrofit in as best they can to try to make it. The sound in SoFi is awful. If you go and see a concert in SoFi, the sound is terrible. But when you go to YouTube Theater, it's like you're in a really good sound recording studio.
Wow.
That's how good.
How big is it? How many seats is it?
6,000 seats
That's
or whatever.
big.
It's huge. I was so blown away by it. I went to several different spots in the auditorium just to hear it. And every place I went, it sounds great.
What's your expectation of Intuit? I'm assuming it's also going to sound kind of terrible just it's such a big arena. And
it's so hard to do those arenas, although but Steve Ballmer owns the old
Clippers.
No.
Soon to be called Clippies. Oh my God, they should rename that team to the Clippies. Oh my God, why have they not done that? Oh, fucking, this is his master plan. We just cracked the code. He's going to call it the Clippies. The Los Angeles Clippies.
Oh my
ding,
gosh.
ding, ding. I see you're playing a basketball game. Ding, ding, ding. Oh my God. How has that never been the thing?
He owns.
Okay, sorry, I'm back.
He owns the Great Western Forum.
He does own the Forum?
And they put concerts on in there, and it's been renovated
I didn't know he owned the
for as
Forum.
good a sound. Yeah, and so they kind of know what they were getting into.
Why did they build the Intuit Dome there? Or did they want to initially and they couldn't zone it? Or does it have like a historical landmark or something?
Madison Square Garden Entertainment owned the Forum.
That's what I thought.
And so when he was going to build the Intuit Dome, they're too close, and they were going to sue him. And he was like, "Don't sue me. Let me just buy it from you."
I got some of that sweet Windows 95 money. Let me give you some of that.
And so he bought it and has learned how to operate a venue like that.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Huh.
And so that's why I'm guessing that the Intuit Dome probably is going to have pretty good sound.
He's funded not only the Clippers, but he's funded the Knicks as well. Oh, kind of.
But anyway, get to the YouTube Theater if you get a chance.
Interesting.
Although you may not be able to see the exact concert that I saw, get to the YouTube Theater. Wow, does this place sound amazing.
I'm sure benefits from some of those sketchy-ass practices.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I know.
That is the episode, he said on a cheery high note.
Ding, ding, ding. I'll check that out. Thank you for joining us for all this nonsense. It's really terrible, enjoyable podcasts from our awful company. Please visit us on the web at nonsense.productions. I'm CJ Little.
I'm Jeff Parker.
If you like this program, please follow, download, subscribe, and like at Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, AntennaPod, iHeartRadio, Spotify, my personal favorite, Overcast, wherever you may get your podcasts from.
Nonsense Studios are guarded by Barkley the dog. Barkley's a rescue mutt, free and open source. Next time you're tempted to buy an inbred dog, a purebred dog, don't get a Barkley. You'll be so glad you did. Genetic diversity for the win. Special thanks to our floor director, Craig Little.
Thanks, Dad. We'll be here every Thursday morning for more nonsense. Well, not next week, technically, since we're off.
Yeah,
but
we're off next week.
Most Thursday mornings for more nonsense. Please join us. I go to Smart and Final today, and on my way in, I picked up 2 bags of trash and threw them away. My net litter was 0 out, 2 in the trash, so I was -2 for the day.
What are you doing? Community service, CJ? Has there been an arrest that I don't know about?
Part of a condition of my parole. I got to pick up trash every day, and I got to stay a long way away from schools. Those are the 2 things I've got to do.